If you're going through a heartbreak right now, then that is a good thing, bro. Look, not everything that's bad is actually meant to be bad. When I was younger, back when I was in high school, way before I was even in high school, I used to be so desperate to find a relationship and to find a girl to fill in that gap that was in me. I would never go a day without wanting something more, and with that being with like I don't know, like being in a relationship or something like that. Like, it's just crazy because like back then, I mean, I was so different, bro. Like, literally, like, back then, like, it's just crazy to me. I used to want a relationship, and I felt that a relationship could fulfill my life. And at some point, when I entered into high school, I started getting more friends. Because back in middle school, I had nothing. No friends. And shit teachers. Sorry for the language. But ever since I went in high school, right? I started getting better friends. And life started becoming better. And at the time, I wasn't really looking for a relationship. But at some point in 2019, something happened. And a relationship popped up in my life. This girl started talking to me. And we were chatting for a while. And I used that, I decided, why not go into it? So I went in the relationship, bro. And obviously it was my first ever relationship. So I decided to give it a try and whatnot, And we've dated for like 2 to 3 months. And then after that, it ended. But if I could go back and remind myself of one thing, it would be that I wasn't ready for it because I was trying to use that to fill something that was within me, bro. There's nothing wrong with being in relationships, but when you're using relationships or anything of that matter to fill in a gap in your heart, bro, there's something interior that needs to be done. You need to have a purpose. You need to find who you are. And finding who you are is not external. That's why you got to find it inside. When you want to find who you are, it's nothing from outside. Back then, I used to think that, if I find the right relationship, I would find who I am. Right? And that is far from the truth, bro. Like, literally, like, we broke up, she cheated on me, ended up dating my best friend. I was heartbroken. And somehow, she wanted to come back to me, and I said, fuck it, I'll go back. And then we ended up dating again, not knowing my dumbass thought that we were going to break up like in 2 months, bro. Look, I'm going to be for real. I'm sorry for the language, bro, but like literally, like, bro, like, what the fuck, bro? If you're in that same position, I'm going to be 100% real. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Why are you doing this to yourself? People don't understand what it's like to really be in a real relationship nowadays. That's why there's a lot of breakups, bro. Oh, it's the one. Bro, it's gonna freaking end. It's gonna end. But we've been dating, and then obviously we broke up and stuff like that. This was back in like high school, bro. And it's just crazy because obviously now I far changed, bro. Because back then, I used to think it was her fault, but it was actually my fault. All these breakups, the feeling of feeling unworthy, thinking that it was her fault, it was actually my fault. And that was the first relationship. Oh, you best believe there was a second one. The second relationship, bro. At the end of 2020, I found this other girl. We were dating, and she was, at the time, better than the first one, but at the same time, she was, I'm not going to say no different, but like, it's just, like, she was definitely better in some ways. Because obviously I used the last relationship to really, like, I used the last relationship and prepared myself for this next one. So obviously I went in that next relationship with intention. But just because you thought it through doesn't mean you're going to be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? People think that they're ready for these things, but they're actually not. And I thought I was ready for it, and I'm not. And, obviously we ended up dating for like 3 months, maybe a month extra than the last one, and then we broke up. But here's the thing. This person was part of my friend group, which was very, very, very hard. Because unlike the last one, I was able to walk away. But in this one, I wasn't able to. I could have, but that would sacrifice me not being with my friends anymore. She could stay and I could leave, or I could stay and she could leave. But for 2 years, she was in that group with me, and I couldn't leave. Well, like I said, I technically could have, but I wanted to be with my friends, right? Because they were my friends, they were my brothers, you know what I'm saying? And obviously, there was nothing wrong with her at the time. You know, she was not bad. It was not necessarily her as a person. It was just the overall situation. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the situation's like with the whole dating thing about a heartbreak and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's all the decision making that you make, right? She was way better than the last one. I'm not gonna cap. But it was my own decision making that got me into that situation, bro. If I knew right then and there that I wasn't ready for a relationship, and I knew right then and there that something needed to happen for me to not want that there's something internal that I have to do it, then I would have done it. And because of that, I suffered for 2 years, bro. Like, in that thing. And then she eventually left. I won't go into too much detail, but then she left with some other people and yada yada. So obviously the group, I was back in the group, you know. Obviously, I was in there and I was like, okay, all right. And I was slowly getting better and stuff like that. But then, it's like I realized, whoa. So what's been affecting me for 2 years is now gone. So at this point, it's a new beginning. It's a new start. This is where my decision making can be put in play. This is the peak moment where I can either make the decisions that I'm making now, or I can go on a new route. I can either seek fake happiness or true happiness. And true happiness comes from your purpose. So I decided to seek that true happiness. The main reason why I'm talking about this, bro, is because you are using external things to make you feel happy. And don't get me wrong, they will make you happy. I'm a Christian. And as a Christian, I believe the devil will do anything to make your life easier. The devil will do anything to make your life happy. Because at the end of the day, the devil doesn't want you to focus on God. He will do absolutely anything. If it means going back to relationships or finding new relationships or going to drugs or anything that will make you feel happy in the moment for what may seem like it will last forever, but it won't. The devil is a liar. You have to understand the reality, bro. Fake happiness may feel like it'll last forever, but it won't. And real happiness feel like it won't last in the moment, but it will in the long run. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm just being real right now, bro. I'm just being real because just think about it. What's long term it's what's supposed to be meant long term is supposed to suck in the moment. And what's not meant long term is supposed to be all joyful in the moment. You know what I mean? Especially in the sense of relationships and stuff like that. Fake happiness is easy to get. True happiness is hard to get. True happiness, you have to work hard for. Fake happiness, effortless. No effort at all. So when you want to go into a relationship, if you want to date and be out there and do all these things, you don't have to put in that much effort, bro. You can just do it. But sometimes you need to catch yourself and think to yourself, wait a minute, this is too easy. Isn't that a bad thing? Right? Because a lot of things that are meant to destroy you not only feel good in the moment, but are easier to do than the things that are meant to last. It's just crazy, bro. Like, if I would have known, bro. Like, if I would have known. And it's not bothering me at all. I just wanted to come here and let you guys know how I've changed from then until now. Because now I'm a completely new human being. I don't rely on relationships for happiness. I wait for it. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At the end of the day, it's all about self-improvement and building yourself for that future, for their future as well, right? And obviously people are going to think, oh, you were just in high school, yada, yada. Yeah, of course I was in high school. But the fact that I even knew a little bit of it, the fact that I knew slightly, because the reason why I'm telling you this is not only because if I would have known, it's the fact that I knew slightly, but I still chose the decision to go in that route, bro. It's just crazy, because back then, my emotional intelligence was through the roof. I knew right from wrong in every detail and aspect. But I still chose to go through that. I knew I wasn't ready. I knew it was meant for more. I knew I could have gotten better. But I still decided to go through that route, bro. I know a lot of you guys are watching this video. It's like, bro, Alex, I've never seen this side of you. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. Out of all the videos I've done, I've never been this serious. But I want you guys to know, because I'm 22. And I've talked to many people, and I am not the perfect human being, but I've talked to many people, right, about this experience. And at my age, even after all this, they're like, wow, your emotional intelligence is just very, very good. Like, I don't know how to explain it. There'll be something like, you know, you have like, I don't know, the IQ of like a 40-year-old or a 60-year-old, you know what I'm saying? And you're so young, so you're gonna excel in life. You know what I'm saying? And this is not me bragging or anything, but in some ways it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, and that's just me now. At the time that I was talking about this, they should have seen me when I was in high school. Yeah, I still chose the decisions of still falling in that pit. But if they knew my mentality, they would have thought, like, damn, bro, it's all it is. It's just a decision, bro. If I knew right then and there, bro, darn. I mean, I was young, but that's the best part. I was young and I still knew. I was young and I still knew that it would hurt me. But I still went in it. Now, I don't want to say that just because you're young, you know, I mean, obviously, from my experience, it's best to, ironically, it's best to learn things from experience. You can learn things from a teacher, you can learn things from a book, but you don't learn things from the core when it comes to that. You just read it, you just know it, but you don't feel it. When you learn it, you see it, but you feel it, that's the real learning experience. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying put yourself in a really terrible situation that'll risk your life. I'm just saying, let things happen so you can learn, you know? Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, so we need to learn, right? But at the same time, if you know right then and there that you shouldn't be somewhere and you're meant to be better, then don't let that temptation take over you. I've said it again, I'm gonna repeat it again. Like, I'm just talking like this. I'm just letting you guys know, again, from where I started until now. So I'm trying my best to really talk to you guys and tell you guys about this stuff, because this stuff doesn't affect me anymore. It's out the window through and through. It's just a dust on my shirt. Done. But it's crazy because back then in the moment, bro, like, I remember, like, the first breakup, bro, I was in my room, on my phone, in my hand, on the carpet floor, crying, feeling my tears just stream down my face. Like, honestly, I was crying so much that there was tears on my shirt. Like I was sweating, bro. Like, I'm not even joking. As I was crying, I looked down at my shirt, and I was shocked to see, like, it looked like I was dying. I don't know how else to explain it, but it looks like I was on the pinnacle of death, bro. I was suffering. And that was the very first breakup, bro. And that was the moment that I knew that I shouldn't have gotten in it. But then I got in it a second time later on that year, knowing damn well. Because at the time, I thought that having a relationship will fill in that gap that was supposed to be meant for more. That was supposed to be for finding your purpose. That was supposed to, how do I put it? Sorry, it's just like whenever I talk about this, it's just hard because, like, I just want you guys to know, you know what I'm saying? I want you guys to know that if you're in that same position, you can change now. I don't feel it right now, but I just want you guys to really know what it was like in my business. Like, bro, like, literally, like, I was crying on the floor, bro. Tears on my freaking shirt. Like a big splash of water, essentially. Maybe, I don't even remember, but I remember looking down and only feeling it wet, but looking down being like, yo, I was straight up shocked. Like, I was crying the life out of me. It was one of the worst days of my life. I don't want to be too open, but there were some thoughts running through my mind. Some serious thoughts. You know, some thoughts about wanting to end it all. I'm being for real. And that was long ago in the past, and life can still be tough nowadays. But from where I am now and then, even though there could be some improvements in some aspects, my mentality has completely shifted. Because, bro, it's honestly crazy because I need, even myself, like, I need to start admiring my mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because that particular mindset was one of the mindsets that I never thought that would change, bro. It all started in middle school. Then it started, but then it also ended in high school. And it was thanks to that experience. Because not only did I learn from it, but I can help others that are A, going through it, or B, help prevent them from going through it. Right? Because if they're depressed, if they're going through something, if they're, I don't know what it is, and they're desperate for a girl, that's a clear red sign that they shouldn't. Right? But going back to my journey, after all of that, that's when I started like hitting the gym more on a daily basis. So I started hitting the gym like in 2019, but it wasn't as serious. Then 2021 arrived, and I started going here and there. And also, that second girl that I was mentioning that was part of the friend group, she was still part of the group at the time. So I went there, but I was still suffering in my mind. It was hard. But right after she left the group, and this was in 2023, when I went back to the gym, I saw it differently, bro. Like, you start to view the gym as solely like a place to just self-improve, bro. Like a place for just improvement, you know? And from right then and there, I was able to just lock in and focus on myself and forget about the past and everything, you know? It's hard to say what else I want to say right now, because I feel like I just said everything, but like, dude, like, if you're in that same spot right now, I know what it's like. The feeling of living every single day, wishing that you were worthy in someone's eyes to move on in life. But that mentality, bro, is what's robbing you of your true happiness. And it's not only from my experience. I've seen those same experiences happening in my eyes. Even before that experience that I experienced myself. And seeing those same things happen from my own experience changed the way I view them and changed how I wanted. It also changed my emotional state of wanting to help them. It's one thing wanting to help someone that's putting themselves through a bad situation, but it's another thing to want to help them through a bad situation that you experience yourself, because you feel that deep. That's the thing. Experience is the best teacher. Like, if you don't experience it, you've never really learned it. You know what I mean? Because when you experience something, you can confidently say, yeah, I've learned that because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I truly know what it's like because I was actually there. Dude, it's just crazy, bro, because all you have to do is just find who you are. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm not saying it's hard either. Like, literally, bro, I feel like people just lack hanging out with themselves, bro. Like, because when I was back in middle school, like I said, I was lonely practically all the time. And thanks to those moments, now I'm independent, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need people to... I don't need to be... I'm not clingy. I don't cling on people. You know? Obviously, I have friends, I have family, and I love them, and they love me. And, you know, obviously my family will be with me forever. And obviously, I'm going to be 100% real with you. If one of my friends didn't want to be my friend with me, it would hurt. But I could finally take what I've learned in the past and remember that and be like, okay, got it. Now I know where to go. If it wasn't because of that moment, not only would I constantly rely on like relationships and be desperate for people, but every time someone leaves, I feel like crap. Because I wasn't focusing on what my purpose really was inside. But now that I know what my purpose is, bro, every single day I can go to that, bro. I go to the gym, bro. I know what I'm meant for. And on that same note, on the gym, start with fitness, bro. Start with working out, building yourself. Because when you work out, you find out who you are. You find out it's not only about physical. When you're putting yourself through those tough reps, you find out your weakness. You start to remember things that were making you weak. And each time you push a rep and you sweat it out, all that depression and anxiety and everything just leaves your body, bro. You feel it. And when you remember that, when you remember the tough moments, you push harder. You push like a warrior. That's why it's best to go to the gym when you're feeling depressed or anxious. You become a fucking warrior. You be that warrior. You go to the gym and fight. You fight and you fight and you fight. The amount of times I've gone to the gym. And I felt like, dude, I wanted to end it all, but I've still gone. I still gone. I pushed through it, bro. Literally, sometimes crying to the gym, bro, and I still do it. And this was even after it, bro. It's meant to shape you. It's sad that people nowadays are just focused on trying to build a sexy physique to get all the ladies or to get all the guys and to, oh, look at me, I'm so... Bro, you've lost the idea of health and fitness and what it's meant to do. It's meant to build you. You're using fitness to fall into the same rat hole? That's what I want people to know. When I coach them, I want them to know that fitness is not only to build a physique physically, but it's meant to build you mentally. I'm trying to make sure you not only get the physique you want, but more than that. Getting out of those situations when you relied on external happiness, right? Because I know deep down what that's like. I know what that's like deep down. I remember coming back home I remember the day of the breakup, bro. I swear, bro, I just wanted to... I was deep down in the gutter, bro. I just... And it's crazy because I'm starting to remember the feelings right now. I'm starting to remember everything. I'm like slowly like, I'm literally like bravely and courageously bringing myself back in a safe way, back into the past, but also realizing that that's not there anymore. But the fact that I'm bringing myself there for you guys, I'm not doing it because I care about you guys, but I'm here to show you what I truly felt, bro. I wanted to end it all. Yep. After that first one, yep. But I didn't. And then of course the second one. My dumbass decided to go in the second one. Then after that, when I saw the signs, gone. I left. And that was the toughest decision I ever made, honestly. Walking away from the first one, I was thinking to myself, was this the right decision? Was this the right move? At the end of the day, it was God moving me, bro. It was uncomfortable at the moment. I just didn't know, really. But I knew deep down I had to move. In those situations, when you know you got to do something, and your body even does it naturally, when you A, don't know what you're doing, and B, are not controlling it, that's God doing it. Because I can guarantee, bro, I was walking away, and I was thinking like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? What am I... But deep down I knew that was right, and that was from God. And it's all thanks to those moments, bro. Really. Because it's honestly sad to think that there are people that are my age, if not older, that are in those same situations when I was in high school. Dating for validation. And like I said, they seem confident, and don't get me wrong, they are. But it's the fake kind of confidence. Like I said earlier, the devil will do anything he wants The devil will do anything that you want him to do as long as it's not, how do I put it? As long as it's not God-centered, he'll do it. He can make things, it's not just the easy, comfortable things, because everyone knows what's easy and comfortable and that it's not long-term, but literally, bro, I swear, like, it could, at the end of the day, it's all about him separating you from God. Because deep down, I know, like, I could do this, I can get into that, right? I could just make things easier, make my life easier by going this route. But deep down, that's going to destroy me because it's not aligned with my purpose. That's just meant for an easy life. There's easy routes and there's hard routes. They both have happiness, but only one of them has true happiness. Either just a fake one or the real one. You have two versions of happiness. But do you want it to last? Or do you just want it to be in the moment? And if you want it to last, brief warning, it may not feel good in the moment. But not only will you feel it later on, but it will last. But like I said, bro, it all started with just going to the gym and just like seeing a better version of myself and chasing right after it. And also making the decision after going back after the second one, making that decision of leaving. Because there will be a point where you're gonna realize that it's destroying you. Now either A, you realize that and you leave before it destroys you, or B, you let it destroy you. I was always the type of person that knew that I was meant for more. Because I used to be lonely in middle school. And because I was lonely in middle school, they gave me a reason to think with myself and know who I am. You know, because when you're alone, the only person you can know is yourself. And it's funny because people are like, oh, I have to work on myself. But sometimes working on yourself requires you to be by yourself. And I'm not a perfect human being. By no means I'm not perfect. Are you freaking kidding me? It would be dumb if you call me perfect. I am far from perfect. I am stupid. No, I'm kidding. But I'm not perfect. And no one, even I am not perfect. But I knew at that time that I was meant for more. I knew. Because I went through what I went through of being lonely in middle school and through all that, those breakups, it made me into who I am today. And keep in mind, like I said, no one is perfect. So there's still going to be some things you're going to work on. We're human. No one is perfect. You're never going to be 100% complete. We make mistakes. There's things we're always going to need to work on. Right? But it's in those moments where you need to start appreciating, right? Also how far you've come as well, you know? Like, I'm nowhere where I want to be, but I'm far from where I started in some aspects, bro. Back then, no purpose, relied on external things, and just didn't care about myself much. And now, all that is something new. I care about myself. I don't need external validation. And I have a purpose. And I found that purpose through making sure that I don't put anyone else before me. I make sure that my happiness is actually happiness. if you're going through the same thing as well, whether it's dating, addictions, whatever it is that is destroying your life at the moment, and the only thing that could help you in that moment is going and seeking those things. I personally help people that are going through tough situations, that are lost, and help them find their purpose through fitness. Because from my experience, I knew what it was like to be in a dark moment, and I was able to find who I am through fitness. So if you want to find who you are and break free from the chains that are pulling you back of true happiness, apply to my one-on-one coaching, link down in the description. Let's get started. Thank you guys for watching. There's a short video. Love you guys. Have a good one.